In a secret effort to fight terrorism, the New York City Police Department labeled entire mosques as terrorist organizations. The tactic allows police to spy on the houses of worship, but without any evidence of criminal wrongdoing. With us to discuss this strategy and how it could potentially endanger other faith-based groups is attorney Tariq El-Shabazz. We also have Linda Sarsour via Skype. She is the executive director of the Arab American Association of New York. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for taking some time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Linda, I'm going to come to you in just a second. Sit tight. Tariq, I want to ask you about the legality of this. Let's talk about what, from a law enforcement standpoint, what labeling an entire mosque as a terrorist enterprise allows the police department to do.
Well, it allows them to circumvent the Constitution. It allows them not to have probable cause or reasonable suspicion, which are fancy legal terms for saying having a real reason for going into a mosque or a masjid, and in fact, planting someone there and spying on them and eavesdropping on telephone calls, and in fact planning people on their board of directors. Once you label it as a terrorist organization, then a federal court as they have been doing in this case, they have a slight standard in which they allow you to actually violate the constitutional rights of American citizens who happen to be Muslims. And that's what they're doing now. And they know that in order to spy, when you really don't have a reason, you really don't have probable cause, you really don't have reasonable suspicion that anything is going on there, all you have to say is terrorism. That is the word of the day. It's like when people used to label people communists, and then all of a sudden you were able to get into their affairs and violate them and to trash them. Now the word of the day is terrorism. You say terrorist organization, that means that the government or the NYPD can do what it wants to do.
And Linda, in this case, I can only imagine what kind of chilling, if not enraging, effect this has on the Muslim community here in New York.
The terror enterprise investigations that the brother is talking about actually also included my organization, which is an Arab American secular organization serving predominantly Arab immigrants from the Arab world. So there's really no, this program is just a lot more far-fetched than people imagine it to be. And it really does cause a chilling effect. We found out that the New York Police Department was trying to recruit someone to be on the board of directors of my organization. So when you work at a nonprofit or a corporation and you can't trust the very people who are on your board, the very people who work with you, even the clients that we're trying to serve, it creates this environment of mistrust within the community, which really hits at the very fabric of our community. It also creates mistrust between us and law enforcement, which I'm sure isn't the intention of the NYPD, but is absolutely the result of this unwarranted spying program.
Is there a better way? Well, I know you're going to say there is a better way, but what is the better way to fight terrorism that is real in this country than something invasive like this? Linda, let's start with you. I'm going to come to you in a second.
Okay.
There absolutely are alternate solutions, and that one is to follow credible leads. You do not put an entire blanket surveillance or put an entire community under suspect trying to find a needle in a haystack. What you also do is you work in partnership with community members. If the very community that you're trying to garner information from doesn't trust you, how are we supposed to get credible information out of our community to law enforcement? So it's a mixture of following the Constitution, making sure that we're not violating the civil rights of American citizens, and at the same time seeing communities as partners in the fight against terrorism instead of suspects. And the New York Police Department, obviously, as you have seen, has not engaged in any community policing when it comes to counterterrorism, but has put our entire community under suspect.
You know what, Tariq, I want to throw this into the comments that you're about to make, but this seems and sounds so much like stop and frisk in a lot of ways.
Absolutely is. It is again, the government violating people's constitutional rights, telling people that you're making you safe by violating someone's constitutional rights. I think that the most important thing that the sister said is in terms of cooperation. This is based on ignorance. Ignorance of a religion, ignorance of a people, ignorance of what in fact is permissible and what is impermissible in the religion of Islam. If in fact people intend to fight terrorism, and quote unquote, by programs like this, one of the things you need to do is find out about Islam. If you find out about Islam, you find out that 99% of the individuals that are involved in this peaceful religion, and that's what it is, are against terrorism. They're against terrorists, and they will welcome information providing or shifting between the law enforcement and the mosque by telling you there's something wrong with this individual. This individual is not upon what we're upon. This individual is not practicing the religion. This individual is dangerous. We do that because we don't want those individuals to not only affect society, but we want to affect ourselves as well. So I think the most important point is that the members of the NYPD has to begin to communicate. Now let's talk about that. If, in fact, they didn't communicate with the African-American or Latino community in stop and frisk, how do we expect them to communicate with individuals that are in the religion of Islam, especially after 9/11? We don't. We don't at all. And if I don't trust you, what makes you think I'm going to provide information to you? In fact, one of the things I read from the article is that they participated in an award-giving ceremony with the same masjid and same organizations that you've been spying on. So how is somebody going to take you sincerely as an individual that wants peace, an individual that wants a partnership between this organization and NYPD, when in fact you're sticking out your left hand while you have your right hand in my pocket?
Linda, I'm just curious, are you aware of any other similar programs around the country? Is this unique to the NYPD?
It's definitely not unique to the New York Police Department. We know that the FBI engages in these surveillance programs across the country. We learned in California there were GPS systems put on cars of individuals. But I think the New York Police Department has taken this surveillance program to the next level. Again, we're not an anti-surveillance community. If you feel that there are individuals or particular institutions where there are potential criminal activity or potential wrongdoing, please, by all means, surveil them and keep the rest of New York City safe.
I understand that. I want to jump in and get a question in quickly before we have to go. I understand that you made overtures to New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly. What were the results of your efforts there? Very quickly.
Yeah, we invited Commissioner Kelly to town hall meetings to come and talk directly to the community, and he has denied our requests. And we are the organization the brother talked about. We played soccer with the New York Police Department. We've invited the Honorable Raymond Kelly into our mosques, and while he was coming in through the front door, he was sending us confidential informants through the back door.
Linda Sarsour, thank you very much for your time. Tariq El-Shabazz is always good, and I would imagine this is just going to invite legal challenge.
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm surprised at whether or not they're going to invite surveillance onto my life.
Yeah. Thank you to both of you.
We already sued the New York Police Department in June before these new revelations, so there is a lawsuit currently pending in federal court.
Great. Thank you very much. And this is Arise America.